Hey, welcome back everyone. It is time for another red hot covered call video. Well, actually, we're here to talk about my June 2023 numbers. I'll tell you what, we're going to talk about my numbers. We're going to look at the breakdown of some of the trades that I did. And I'm going to show you a trade at the end of this video where we're using one stock, writing multiple covered calls. And I went ahead and did a buyback, making a little bit less of max profit, but I'll show you exactly why we went ahead and took that trade off the books. So look, before we get started, yes, I am going to show you my numbers. And yes, we're going to talk about all the money I make. Last time I did a monthly recap video, I think I got somebody in the comments saying I patted myself on the back. Why I show you my numbers is to give you motivation, inspiration, show you the numbers, because at the end of the day, a lot of people say, look, I love your videos, but show me the numbers. And that's what we're doing here. June 2023 ends up being my biggest June ever. And that's over 6 and 7 years we've been doing this. So this is phenomenal. We broke 2 records this year. Monthly cash flow. I tell you what, at the end of the day, we are on top of our game. Let's go ahead and get to this because I absolutely want to show you that trade at the end of this video. So look, if you like anything you hear today, we're talking monthly cash flow, how I generate it in retirement, paying the bills. That's what we do here. We talk about monthly cash flow so we can pay the bills, live the good life. So look, if you like what you hear today, subscribe to the channel. It's right there. It's free. And hey, look, if you like this video today, bang that like button. It lets me know you like what I'm doing. Now, what I'm doing is this. I'm generating almost $85,000 in the first full 6 months of 2023. That absolutely blows my mind because my goal originally was about $50,000 or $100,000 total. Well, now we've blown that out of the water and we are absolutely looking for bigger goals. And right now, my goal for 2023 is $160,000. I mean, hey, look, if we're going to set goals, hey, let's reach for the sun, because if I only catch the moon, well, I've done more than most people, right? That's how I see it. We have a mindset of success. We have goals so we can achieve them. And then we go out and we achieve those goals. We stay the course, right? We stay the course because the bills do not stop. And in June of 2023, we end up knocking down some $19,690. Now, I'm going to show you a breakdown of this month, but this is where we're at selling premium. When I started some 8 years ago with my very first trade, it was one stock, and I made a mere $125. I've told that story at least 100 times, and it's still relevant today. If you're out there needing to learn how to generate cash flow in retirement or to pay some bills, learning how to sell premium can help you. It absolutely has changed my life to the point where it's pretty much the only kind of investing I do. Selling premium, writing covered calls, and selling cash secure puts. Let's go ahead and talk about my June 2023, and I want to show you that trade at the end where we used one stock, we wrote 3 covered calls, almost doubling our initial trade setup in a mere 40 days. These are all the trades that my members see on my trade desk where they can go and see all of my active trades. But my trading desk is right here with all these fancy colors. I will move in and out of trades, and this is where I do it. Then I actually keep track of all my kids' trades here. And of course, I keep track of all of my stock purchase and leaps purchases as another spreadsheet entry. And then, of course, all my trades that I do, I document by moving them lower. Yeah, you see them there. Hundreds of trades this year. And I'm telling you what, not many losers. Let's go ahead over to the June 2023 blog report where we get a much cleaner look where I ended June 2023. So as you can see, the breakdown is simple. Over the course of June, all closed trades in June represent this. Okay? There's no trades from May and none for July. It's closed trades in June. With that said, we did 19 closed trades. We generated pre-tax $19,690, basically using $450,000. Now, I outlined in my last video that, by the way, at the end of this video, you can click where I derived the $450,000 from. That's basically the entire capital of my selling premium portfolio. Because that's the money on the table used to generate this cash flow. And that's important. The capital I use generates this cash flow. And cash on cash, right? The money I put on the table to invest, and when the trade's over, I put the money back on the table. What do I have? Cash on cash percentage gain. That turns out to be 4.37%. So we're absolutely killing it. And these are some of the trades we had. So to break this down pretty simply is this. Some of these trades that you see red were stock buybacks, meaning the near-term covered call was bought back and the shares were sold for a profit. So that looks like a loss up front, but it's really a win when everything is tallied at the end, right? I may have written a covered call in April, May, and June. Well, if I buy back the near-term covered call in June, it's going to show a loss, but I've made all that money over the prior 3 months. And ultimately, the stock sale, where I'm hoping to make money, gets documented in the month that it's sold. So as you can see, I had a couple trades where right off the bat, these are poor man covered call, near-term call options that I had to buy back for loss, but you'll see later that I sold those leaps call options for a profit. You give up the money on the front side to buy them back at a loss, and you make the money, hopefully, with the stock sale or the leap sale. But for the most part, you could see that writing covered calls, I generated $3,800. For the most part, that's what I did. A lot of covered calls and poor man covered call trades. As I told you in the last video, I outlined that for all the members. It's a covered call if I own shares, and it's a poor man's covered call if I own the leap. I make that distinction so my members understand how I'm trading these things. Now, stock positions that were closed, meaning I sold the shares, you could see I made $11,400. That was truly the lion's share of this month's profit. But those were basically trades where I bought the shares, I wrote the covered call, maybe I bought an option back, and I wrote another covered call and basically was able to profit on the shares. And that's exactly what we did. We made some great trades. And in fact, these two trades right here, FAS, I could tell you this, I acquired these shares of stock where I wrote a cash secure put up front. I was assigned the shares and we immediately wrote a covered call and we ended up profiting by selling the shares. I tell you what, right now, the market's trading sideways to higher. This is the sweet spot because the Fed has come out with sort of a passive approach on interest rate hikes. Inflation numbers are not as hot, right? And the job market isn't a disaster. Wall Street likes this Goldilocks situation, and they're putting money in the market. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to trade up or down. They will, but right now it seems to be sideways to sideways, and that's where we can profit from this market selling premium. Now, my poor man's covered call trades were great because I do have some making money, but this Cisco trade ended up being a great one. I even did many videos on this where I showed the members this as a poor man's covered call trade idea. And I also did a video for the YouTube channel here. This was a great poor man's covered call trade idea that I sent to the members and I did the trade as well. And I like this trade so much, I initially did a 5 contract trade and after earnings, I came back knocking down another 10 contract trade. Talk about confidence, right? Trade worked out perfectly, knocking it down, made money, we move on. In fact, I have another poor man's covered call trade idea coming up for the members. I hope to get that out either tonight or tomorrow. That's what I do at the membership. I send them a seeing the world through my eyes trade idea where I dial it up, tell them exactly why I would do it, and typically I do it. That's the thing, man. I love profiting from my own work. And it benefits the members because they get to look at it and say, hey, I like that. I'm going to do my own work, see if I'm going to do it. Can't tell you how many times I get members coming back saying, thanks for that trade idea. I went ahead and did it, knocking it down. Now, the breakdown is simple. 19.6 was the overall for the month of June. This becomes my biggest June ever. $19,690. Now, how does that break down? It actually looks like I might have lost some money on some cover call premiums. I think that number's wrong, but we're deep in the video. I'm not going to change it now. I'll go back and take a look at that. But that cash secure put number's strong. Used the cash secure put all month. I loved it. But look at that stock sale. Absolutely knocking it down. The poor man's covered call number's right. Because remember, I had to buy back those 2 Cisco near-term call options, losing money. And then, of course, I sold the Leaps call options, making money. I didn't collect any dividends with my selling premium stocks. We don't make anything from that. But as you can see, this month, June, was 2 years ago. I registered my very first monthly loss. That's right. If you remember, look, I don't even have to go back and research this. That's when I had my shares in Workhorse taken away early. And quite frankly, it surprised me. Luckily, I had made so much money writing covered calls, I ended up making money on that trade. But because they took my shares early and it was below my cost basis of the stock, I had to write it up as a loss. But in the end, it turned out to be a profitable trade. Now, back in 2020, the year the stock market crashed by 50%, that was the vid year. Well, I'll tell you what, that month made some of my biggest gains. We were using a cash secure put and all the volatility, $19,608. That was a record. That was one of the biggest months I've ever had, because the very next month, I think I made $23,000. That was that year I made $110,000 using about $225,000 in cash. We were on our way, knocking it down. This month, $19,690. I will say this before we go to that trade. That trade where I'm going to show you, I bought the stock, wrote 3 covered calls, ended up selling it for a profit when I basically sold the stock at my stock purchase price, not having the stock move. How does that happen? Selling premium is how that happens. So I'm going to show you here in a minute. But let me just tell you one real quick thing. Today, one day before the end of the month, I had a TNA cash secure put, and the projected cash flow was into next month. It was going to be $2,000. TNA's trading basically around my strike price, and it's sitting there with a juicy $560 in profit. If I buy the option back, meaning I got paid X, I pay Y, I'm left with the money on the table, $560. I did that trade just so I could break my June record. I know goes against everything we talk about here at the membership, where we want to make sure we use the 50% rule, the 10% rule. I get it, but I'm sorry. I wanted that record, ended up buying that back, putting the money back into the account, and it absolutely pumped up my June numbers to where I end up breaking a record, making $19,690. Now look, this was just a summary of the breakdown. If you were a member, you would have seen all the trades. Do you see them right here? These are like all the trades right here. You would see the breakdown. In fact, let me show you one right here that we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about UPS. I'm going to show you what I did. But this is what the members got when I closed out this position. And of course, they saw all these covered calls because I would send them the covered call trade alert. I would then close the trade and they would get that alert that I closed that near-term covered call. Well, in the case of UPS, I bought the shares at 170. And my expectations is that my shares would be taken away at 170. I picked up like over a $5 premium. That's all I wanted to make. Well, we end up buying that option back for a little bit less, pocketing the money, then writing another covered call. The stock moves up, down, ended up buying that option back, making a little bit of money. We do it again and again. My point is, we are using a stock that's literally going nowhere. If anything, it's going lower, and we're able to generate free cash flow. And as you can see, I wrote one cover call, pocketed $621. Turned right around, wrote another cover call, made $708. And then finally the stock burst past my strike price, and now it's in the money. So then I did a breakdown of what kind of money I would make if I just let the trade finish. They take my shares at 170, or what if I bought the option back, giving me some 10 days to use that money invested for another trade. That's what I sent the members in this training video where we're talking about a covered call buyback. Yes or no? Should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? And I break down exactly why I should do it. And I'll tell you what, I started that video by saying I was not going to buy the option back. But let's go ahead and take a deeper dive into why I did the buyback versus having my shares taken away. So here's my UPS tracker for this trade. What I do for the members is this. Every time I do a trade, I track it. So I could always show the members how I use a stock to generate near-term covered call cash flow, and we could see the progression of the investment. When I put $51,000 to work, how much money has that made me since I've been putting it to work? And if I'm stuck holding the shares, how much am I making on that investment? Well, that's why I have a tracker for every single trade, and it looks like this. Now, these are the end results. And oh, by the way, if you're sitting there saying you bought the shares at 170, it's now trading at 176.05, you would have made more money had you just bought and hold and sold. That's not the game we're in, okay? We're not in it to speculate. We're in it to sell premium. And we have a very defined goal: generate monthly cash flow. I'll let you speculate buying UPS at 170 and it goes to 176 and you're pop and bruise. But what I'll tell you is this: during the same time frame, UPS fell from 170 to 167. You're not pop and bruise then, but I was stacking cash flow. See, that's what we do here. We have a very narrow-minded trading strategy where what we do is use our shares and the money invested to generate cash flow. So if you want to go out and speculate and buy a stock and hope it moves 6 or 7 points, well, hey, I tip my hat to you, because I tried that for many years. They call that swing trading, day trading, and I was never good. In fact, once I realized how to sell covered calls and cash secure puts, that's pretty much the only way I trade. This is what I do. So when you see these numbers and UPS is trading at 176 and I probably could have made more money, you understand the mindset. That's not my game. Selling premium is. And my max profit for this trade, if you remember, bought the shares at 170, collected a premium of almost $5, and if my shares were gone, I make 5 times $300 or $1,500. That was the initial trade setup, the projected cash flow for the trade. Anything above and beyond that is gravy, and that's where we are now. Fast forward, I originally put on the trade, ended up buying that option back. You can see it right here. It's at the bottom, trade 1. I put it on 170. Stock fell. The option I got paid $490 fell. It traded at 283. I bought the option back, pocketing 621 crisp dollar bills on the table. Then I decided to write a covered call at the 170 strike. We pushed out a couple weeks on the expiration, picked up 570 on the next premium. Well, the stock's dancing up and down here and there. My option, for which I got paid 570, falls. So I buy it back for 344, pocketing 708 crisp $1 bills on the table. You see how this works, right? So then UPS is trading at 169.80. You can see it right there. It's trading for 169.80. We write the same 170 strike, pushing out expiration by another week. We get $4.09. Now UPS moves higher. Let me show you the chart as to what it did. So you can see here where UPS is dancing. It rallies, it falls, then it rallies again. Okay, and now on this third opportunity to write a covered call, it's trading at about 170, right? And it pops all the way up to 175X. And I'll tell you what, I know my shares are going away. In fact, throughout this process, I'm looking at a potential buyback where I buy back the option and then I immediately sell the shares because I can't make any more money. The stock is deep in the money now. It's some $8 in the money. So really now I'm just standing there holding this stock, waiting for the inevitable to happen, expiration. So when I plugged in the numbers into my buyback calculator, I basically waited for that moment when the time value portion in the option was small, I could buy it back and the cost was not going to cost me that much, because always remember, time value is the cost of a buyback. I have an entire video library where I have little tiny videos talking about the simple things like a buyback and different situational trades. Absolutely love my library of training videos that the members get to see. Now, the question is, do I buy it back or do I let it go to expiration? Here's the deal. We ended up running some numbers. Let me type them in. As you can see, if I have my shares taken away at 170 and I keep the entire premium of the last covered call trade, I would make 5.01% cash on cash, or $2,556. Now remember, my initial trade setup was going to have me make about what? 1,500 or about 2.8%. So we're already knocking it down almost up 2%. And where I said at the beginning of the video that I doubled my initial trade setup, I actually didn't, but I made almost 5%. Now the question is, do I let this go to expiration or is there a buyback opportunity? I still have 10 days left on this contract. Remember, that is the real risk, time, and me owning the shares. Now in this case, we know that UPS went higher, but it could have gone lower. Well, when I plug in the buyback information, let's take a look at how much I would make versus what I would make if it would go to expiration. And as you can see, the option was trading for $5.40. That was going to be my buyback. I had to pay that to alleviate the obligation. Now I own stock that's trading for $174.81. I could sell it on the open market for $174.81. And when I do that, what does it look like? Well, the near-term covered call, I lose money. And we understand that. I got paid $4.09, I pay $5.40, I'm losing money. I got to make up the difference on the entire stock trade. And that's what I did. When I sell it for $174.81, look what happens. I end up picking up $936 on all the cover call premiums. I end up picking up about $1,400 on the stock sale. And when you bring all of that together, I make 4.66% or $2,378. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, wait a second, you were giving your shares up for $170. How did you make money on the stock trade? Remember, when I did that buyback, I alleviated my obligation, basically paying $393 to do that. I gave up the $4.09, paid $5.04 per share times 300 to alleviate the obligation. So the obligation is gone. What are my shares worth? They're worth $174.81. We sell them on the open market. I end up making that much money if I do the buyback. So for me, the question is 10 days. It's all about time. It's all about time. I make 4.66% if I take the risk off the board, close the trade, got 10 days. Or we let it go to expiration and I make 5.01%. And for me, I would rather take the money off the board, have that money hit my account. We have the cash flow on the table, and now we can use 10 days on my next selling premium trade, whether I buy shares with this money or I do a cash secure put. Here's the deal. If I can make back that 0.4%, right? Remember, I was going to make 5.01% if I stay in the trade. Well, if I can make basically 0.4% on the next trade, well, we're going to go ahead and do that. Because now we can move on from this trade, consider it a clean deal, green trade, pocket the money, we move on. And that's exactly what I did. And today, the members actually saw what I did with that money. We went ahead and wrote a cash secure put, absolutely knocking down more than 0.4%. Yeah, we used a little more volatile stock than UPS, but I'll tell you what, we made money using this stock about a month ago. And it's trading exactly where I told the members a month ago we want to get involved. Knocking it down. Hey, look, if you're interested in getting the phone app that has all those training videos, by the way, let me show you what that means. All those videos, the Money Monday videos where I show the members a trade idea. How about the Seeing the World Through John's Eyes videos where we revisit trades that I mentioned? How about all the training videos that I post there that you don't see on YouTube? It's all there for the members in the phone app. Well, you have to be a member to get the phone app, and it is for free. Go to cptdashboard.com, click Upgraded Dashboard. I give you 1 free month. Look, there isn't much of an obligation here. You join, and if you want to leave, I'm not going to needle you to stay, okay? I got too many spinning plates in my life to worry about you bailing, okay? But look, if you want to see the world through my eyes, a successful active trader knocking it down and getting ideas to maybe up your game, well, I'll tell you what, you want to be a part of the membership, and I give you 1 free month. Don't know what you're waiting for. Join today so I can welcome you aboard. Hey, look, I'm going to leave it right there. If you go to Facebook and search The Real CPT Dashboard, I always post up stuff there. That's free. Go there, follow the page, and get ready to see everything that I post on my Facebook group, The Real CPT Dashboard. Go there, follow my page. My next video, we're going to talk about that cash secure put I did for this extra 0.4%. We're going to talk about why I picked it, and we're even going to revisit my original trade idea 1 month ago for which we had success, and I believe we're going to have success this time too. Hey, look, go to cptdashboard.com, click Upgraded Dashboard, get your 1 free month. Be safe, be healthy, most important, be lucky. Until next time, may all your covered calls be profitable.